Hello everyone, I'm Dead Knight and this is In It to Win It. Today we are going to continue our Core Set 21 series talking about the Rogue card pool. So as usual, you're going to get my best pick for which card I think is the best in the set, the card I think is the worst in the set, and the card I'm most excited about that has a lot of potential, and we can get into some discussions about it. So start with the best pick. That is going to be Preparation. Not an exciting pick, as Preparation has been around since launch, albeit it was nerfed from its original form, but Preparation is a 0 mana card that allows your next spell that you play to cost 2 less mana. So we have seen this over the course of Rogue's lifetime, getting into some pretty crazy combos, getting lots of resources pulled out onto the board in a very short amount of time. We've also seen them use Preparation with cards like Raiding Party, which will draw you 2 pirates and a weapon, Swindle, which draws you a minion and a spell. At the beginning of the game, we were seeing this with Preparation and Sprint, which turned a 7 mana draw 4 cards into a 4 mana draw 4. But the thing that people are using Preparation most for, as you can see, is greatly reducing or making free card draw. So if you have free card draw, that means that your deck just has essentially fewer cards in it. So for a Preparation and a Swindle, that's 0 mana, draw 2 cards. It's like playing with a 28 card deck, which means that all the cards that you have that are doing damage, that are sticking to the board, that are gaining tempo, that are trading up with your opponent and getting value and winning the game, that means you have fewer cards in your deck so you're always drawing those. You have a more consistent and more lethal deck. Preparation has enabled this since launch. It's going to continue to do so, and it's going to be an auto include in almost every Rogue deck is my prediction. It's been that way since launch, and I expect it'll continue to do so. So what's the worst card in the set? For me, it's not even close. It is Plague Scientist. Plague Scientist is a 2/3 for 3 mana that combos to give one of your minions poisonous. So poisonous seems good, and in some cases it is, because it is one of the closest things you can have in combat to hard removal. 1 damage from this minion, and that's the end of your opponent's minion. So shouldn't Plague Scientist be good? The answer is no, and for a couple reasons. Firstly, it is understated. So a 2/3 for 3 mana is understated. Most 3-cost minions are going to have 7 stats if they don't have a very powerful ability. This only has 5. So by itself, it is probably not going to trade with one of your opponent's cards, and if it does, it trades down, which means your opponent is getting an advantage. Secondly, in order to get that removal of a creature, there are 2 conditions that have to be met. The first condition is you have to have a minion stick to the board that can attack on your next turn, so for Plague Scientist to use its combo on. And secondly, you have to have already played a card this turn. So unless you're using Backstab, Preparation, or some other 0-cost card, you're not even going to be playing Plague Scientist on turn 3. And even if you are playing it on turn 3, you're going to be killing one of your opponent's minions that you should already be able to trade with on the board for anyway. So when is Plague Scientist going to be useful? Probably not till late in the game when you're using a small minion to trade for a large minion. But even then, you have to have the 2 conditions. Either something sticking to the board, and you're also needing to combo it. You can accomplish both of these at once with a rush minion, but even then, that's really awkward. It's not efficient. It's 2 cards when you should be able to do hard removal with 1 card at that stage in the game. So Plague Scientist, totally useless. In my opinion, hasn't seen play yet, probably won't see any play now. As far as the most interesting card, again, an obvious choice is Vanessa Van Cleef. Vanessa Van Cleef is replacing her father Edwin, which was recently retired. And Vanessa is a 2/3 for 2 mana that combos into copying the last card your opponent played on their last turn. So the reason why it is, I'm not saying it's straight out of the gate good, but is definitely worth a discussion and will probably get some action, is because a lot of this depends on not only what your opponent plays, but when they play it, and then when you draw this card and choose to play it. So you will often see this card sitting in your hand and waiting for your opponent to play something great. A lot of times, if you're familiar with the meta, you know exactly what you want Vanessa to be on, and your opponent may try to play around that. So not always going to get you the card you want, But when you're looking at it in terms of what kind of value you're getting, you have a 2-3 for 2, which is great stats if you just played it by itself. Um, Obviously at this point in the game with power creep, we'd expect better 2 drops, but you could just play it by itself. It stands on its own, and then it's going to get you a card, and that card is going to be playable because it was already in your opponent's deck. So the value of this is really solid. You can take your opponent's plays and throw it back at them if they have a strong tempo play. So a lot of potential for this card. Uh, there really isn't a deck where it's bad in, it just may not be the most efficient card. So I expect Vanessa to get some play in standard and maybe even in some crazy wild decks. But it's a very interesting card. I really like the design, and I think we're going to see more of that in the future. So those are my 3 choices. Eager to hear what you think and what you're excited about or disappointed about with the Rogue Core Set 2021. Leave a respectful comment below and tune in next time.